Okay, so I was just going to say we're going to be recording this meeting so we can pass it out to everybody. As I was saying earlier in my emails, these sessions, we've got the quarterly meetings and the masterclasses. If you can't get to them, don't worry, we can record them, we can forward them on, and we'll make sure in the kind of follow-up emails and newsletters that everybody's getting the information, so you won't miss out. So today, our agenda, we're going to do a little bit of an introduction, a little bit around some learning outcomes is what we hope you're going to get out of this session. We're going to talk a little bit about the recruitment funnel. We're going to talk about some influencers. We've got an amazing guest speaker today, the lovely, no pressure, Dion, the lovely Dion from Mails Crop. And we're going to talk about some benefits and impact of schools recruitment. We're always going to talk about quick wins, and we're hoping to finish at about 12 o'clock. Now, at 12 o'clock, if you want to carry on, we will always hang around to chat about all things schools and college engagement, or you can run off at 12. That's not a problem as well. So, hi everyone. It's me again. Michelle Dow, Managing Director of All About Futures. And I'm hoping today what we're going to find out is, our learning outcomes for today, is how schools and colleges outreach can impact on your recruitment as an employer. I want to remind you of the networks available, specifically in the Liverpool City region, that can support you in recruitment, and also remind you of the benefits. I think sometimes when we talk about it, a reminder of the benefits of working with schools and colleges is a good thing to do. So, putting it all in context, I actually worked in recruitment for a little while, and we always talk about the recruitment funnel. And it's kind of like this. I mean, you could probably put more things within the funnel, but these are the kind of top level things. To get your smiley person, to get your smiley employer at the bottom of the funnel, we need to do a whole attraction piece. We need to make sure that person has got the right qualifications for the job. They need to go through an application process, whatever that application process is. And then at the bottom of that funnel or triangle, we have our smiley employee. So I think as employers, sometimes we get kind of stuck on that. We've got a job, we need to advertise it. So we start at the kind of advertising application stage of wanting a ready-made person to apply for our jobs. And what I really want to kind of drill down into today is more around, so how can schools and college recruitment kind of help with every kind of level of this funnel? Because if we're not attracting the right people with information, whether that be parents, teachers to pass on information, and influence our young people, we're kind of missing a trick. If our young people and our teachers don't know what qualifications that they need to apply for the job, they're kind of ruling themselves out before the applications. So I'm kind of going to hopefully go through that kind of idea of how can we involve schools and college engagement at each level of this recruitment funnel. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do today, and I think we probably have got enough people just to split into two groups, Gemma. I'm going to split us into two, and I'm going to ask 3 questions for a little 10-minute discussion to see what kind of experiences that everybody has had, and kind of what is your understanding of careers education in schools and colleges. Do you know things because it's your job to know things? Do you know things because you know young people? A little bit about, how did you find out about your careers path? Did you always want to, did you want to be an astronaut? I think we had a meeting last week where somebody wanted to be a bin man because they thought there was only one bin truck that went round everywhere. I thought that was amazing. So you get to see the world on the one bin truck. And my third question is, what should or would or do you do for schools and college outreach? So I'm going to split us into two. I'm going to lead one session, and the lovely Leslie Ann is going to have the second session. And at some point, magically, we are going to, by the powers of technology, we probably need a different theme tune for that, splitting into two groups. Maybe that can be the follow-up discussion. But I'm hoping, like countdown. Yeah, I like that, Claire. Yeah. Okay, so we should be joining. Just to suppose a little bit of feedback from our breakout room. People in the room that spoke mostly have some involvement of within schools and colleges around careers. So there is an understanding of kind of Gatsby benchmark. I kind of wish we had a poll now to see if people know about Gatsby benchmarks. I might put that in the kind of follow-up to explain what Gatsby benchmarks are. I mean, in a nutshell, it's how schools are judged on their careers provision. There's 8 Gatsby benchmarks, and I think that's another part of the problem as well, because we've all got different levels of understanding about careers education in schools, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit in the next bit. How did you find about your own careers path? I think somebody said they went for a job and were surprised that they got it, and I think that's kind of true for a lot of us. There's not many of us that have gone, right, I want to be an astronaut, and ended up being an astronaut, insert all the jobs for astronaut. And we didn't really get to the what would we do, but one of the strongest messages coming out, I think, is that idea is that it's a bit scattergun in places, and that we will be better at working together, and I think that will come out as well. Leslie Ann, your group?
Yeah, we had a similar theme with it, the understanding of careers education. I mean, that theme of how it's vastly different from school to school, depending on, I suppose, how the school structures the careers leader and the time that's allocated and to it in that way. And again, same themes about finding out your own career paths, that focus on as well what your networks are, whether you've got that family connection that usually something leads to the direction you go into in your career. And that theme of stumbling, I think there's a theme we've seen coming up time and time, is stumbling around until you find a career that fits you, and we need to sort of work to transition to that, till making an informed choice until you find a career that fits you, and that would be the ideal transition. For the bottom question, what would you do? Why do school outreach? We didn't quite get to cover that topic at the moment, but again, I think the theme we should be thinking about is from the business point of view and the student point of view of school outreach, because when we asked those questions in the past, the focus seems to be all the wonderful support you can give those students, and obviously that should be our priority, but it can also bring a lot of fruitfulness from a business point of view as well.
Oh, Leslie Ann, you've set me up lovely for one of my slides later on. Thanks so much. So I just want, my next slide's just looking a little bit around, and again, if you already know this is absolutely fine. But it's that idea of all our schools and colleges are different. They serve different communities, they have different good points and bad points, but as far as careers is concerned, some schools have a full-time dedicated careers advisor who is there to talk about careers to the students. Now, again, even if you have a full-time careers advisor, depending on how big the school is, depends on how much time you can give an individual student. And I kind of just wanted to highlight that it is so different depending on what school or college you're talking about. Some schools have bought-in provision where they pay an external organisation, and you might have a careers advisor who's across 3 schools or 4 schools, but that's something external that they've brought in and not somebody who sits within the school. We've also got schools in the Liverpool City region where, rightly or wrongly, their careers support is in addition to a teacher's workload. So you might have a maths teacher who is responsible for careers as well, which, you know, trying to get the amount of information that we need to relay to our young people is really, really tricky. I wanted to talk a little bit about them kind of influences. So I think when we talk about recruiting someone for a job, there's a lot of presumptions. Well, they'll have learnt that in school, they've got that from their parents, or they'll have seen this in the media. So when I'm talking about this kind of attraction piece, I'm talking about our careers teachers, and that is not the same right across the Liverpool City region. We could talk about parents for a long time. Like, parents are, you know, a lot of us will know, or even gone into careers, because I've done this because my mum's done it, my dad's done it, or, you know, someone else who I'm related to or have cared for me as kind of influenced me. But I just wanted to share this. So research commissioned by Gatsby reported that nearly 3 in 4, so 71% of parents felt overwhelmed by the number of career and education choices available. 2/3 said that the child has expressed an interest in a future career that they know nothing about. So there's a real gap to be filled in the education of our parents, because you know, there's nothing worse than your child coming home and say, I want to do this, and not being able to support them in doing that. You know, the 62% have admitted to relying predominantly on their own experience, you know, and Google, I suppose, when advising their children. And I think we are, as a collective, trying to do more about this. One of the things that we've got coming up is, if you run apprenticeships within your industry, in National Careers Week, we're going to do a parent session around apprenticeships. If you are a company that wants to sit on the panel to talk to parents, please get in touch with us. We'll be doing a gaming focused one of these, in partnership with the Careers Hub, in March as well. I think there's just a lot of work to be done. I wanted to highlight the kind of parents side of things. The other influences, I suppose, from an employer's point of view on this attraction piece, I kind of wanted to say, I suppose it should be the other way around. It's a long game, really. We need to be getting the idea of our brands and our jobs and our career paths out there as early as possible for our recruitment. Now, I would say an easy quick win, you know, social media, you know, are you linking up with the Careers Hub? Are you linking up with the Be More site? Are you linking up with All About Futures, All About STEM? Making sure that recruitment is a marketing piece a lot of the time, and if you're just using the one channel and not joining up with everybody else, I mean, it might be that as part of the network we share our socials and just follow each other, because it's widening that network. If you've got an apprenticeship or if you've got a current job, it might be that, you know, we can kind of share that around our own Liverpool City region kind of socials. I've wrote emails to kind of remind me that if you're an employer and you want your information into schools and colleges, we have the network that does that, and we have various different networks that do that. The Careers Hub do a lovely email to the careers leads in the Liverpool City region practically every week. You know, so if you want to get something into a school, instead of phoning a reception, we've already got the channels. You kind of need to talk to us about that, and it kind of underpins this kind of brand recognition. If young people have kind of not seen the kind of brand that you are, or the jobs that you offer, it's not going to be something that they look for. But if that's coming in through socials or through emails or whatnot, it can really underpin your kind of recruitment process. And I've mentioned pathways here as well, because it's a little bit around qualifications, that they might say, right, I really want a job in Jaguar Land Rover, but like they might not know what qualifications that they have, what pathways that they need to take, and even more so in smaller organizations, you know, what you guys are looking for. So I have finished 1 minute over time. I just thought it was really important that we heard from the ground, really. It's all right me telling you guys like every kind of other meeting why it's so important, but I just wanted to introduce Dion, who's one of our great careers leads. I picked you up, Dion, so yeah, sorry for the pressure. Just to talk to you from a school's perspective. Thanks, Dion.
Yeah, great. So hi everyone. I'm a full-time careers lead in a school in Southport. My experience, so my career journey started when I went to my careers advisor and asked, how do I be a teacher when I was 15, and a very long and boring story. That's not where I went, and I ended up working in finance for 16 years. The passion for young people never left me. So I was an employer like you guys who went into schools, did mock interviews, you know, enterprise days, all of those things. And I just always had this real buzz when I was around young people. So took the brave choice to go back into education and study. And that's why I find myself working here. Like Michelle alluded to before, there is a huge disparity around, you know, careers leads in schools across our region. I am incredibly lucky to work in a school with a head teacher who is very invested in careers and pays me full time, and my team's expanding in school. So there's 2 of us who provide guidance and careers lead. So I look after the strategic focus for the school. That, you know, in itself, the benefits of that are just incredible. We work alongside the pastoral teams, so and parents. So it being actually based in a school full time is just wonderful. So we've been able to really look at our careers program and look at making sure our students are plugged in to careers from a very early age, starting in year 6 through the transition from primary school. And our strategic focus for that, it's a spiralized program, so we do revisit things throughout the time. But the main strategic focus when we looked at it was the local economic development. So working with SMEs within the local area. So we're a seaside town. What we found was a lot of our students, they decide, oh, I need to get out of Southport, I need to leave. So we started to look at some of the regional growth sectors linked to some of the bigger employers and how we could link into local SMEs to try and really encourage that talent to stay within the town. So you know, our ultimate goal is to help improve apprenticeship uptake. I'm hoping you can hear me because I'm in an office with the phone ringing. Apologies. But yeah, the apprenticeship uptake is just not good enough, you know, for young people in general. It's a national problem. So we want to really work with local employers and regional employers, of course, to support that workforce planning and get some apprenticeship uptake, which then means that, you know, the local economy grows. So I started to go out to these SME businesses within the area and talk to some of the managing directors in the companies, just to really understand what is it that, you know, how can they not retain these students? How are they, you know, what are their recruitment strategies? And to start to look at some of the different ways that we could support. So I'll just come on to how we started to work with these employers on the next slide. So as I said, we start early with year 6. So we look at transition into high school. So we look at the local labour market. We look at the regional side, but we also look at what's our strength within Southport, so the visitor economy. So we work with Southport Pleasureland and various different businesses looking at the Love Southport campaign. And the reason we start it so early is, I think it was Michelle who said before about that brand realisation. So understanding what is on their doorstep, how does that then link into what's within our wonderful region? And then we follow that on with an enterprise day with one of the employers in the region. So we did that with Keep Most Homes, for example, this time in year 8. So that then gives them something tangible. What young people really want to see, and I'm sure you all know this, is they want to, it's getting in the hearts and minds of young people. So they want something tangible that they can see, feel, real people that they can look at and talk to. So then leading on from that, we've done some work with Kia Homes, who are responsible for a big project within, well, 2 big projects within the region at the moment, and they supported our GCSE option students really recently. The idea behind that is to start out with year 9, getting in the hearts and minds. We recognise Kia. We're going to see a lot of Kia in the local environment, and then they're going to come back in and do an industry week, with the hope that we'll get some of our students then plugging into the T level at Southport College, the construction T level, which then leads to potential degree apprenticeships within Kia, not just within Southport, but within, you know, well, internationally. So that's how we try and approach these employer events. And I think one of the things we have done is we've started to look at some of the SMEs and mentoring opportunities and mentoring circles. I think somebody mentioned that before, which is fantastic. What we find with that is that can kind of capture a small group of students, which is great, and that can help those businesses recruit. But we also need to think about that bigger piece of work with the students as well, which is why we get so much contact with employers. And I think on the next slide, I just talk about this is the reason why we do this work, because this is from our most recent student voice in February. This was last week, well, the week before we broke up for half term, and you can see there that 79% of our current year 11 say they understand what skills employers need. So there's still much work to do there. We see that, but that's improving year on year. But you can see that the positives underneath really reflect that actually they think they understand what employers want, but they're not in front of them enough, and they don't really understand the recruitment and selection processes as much as they could. And the bottom one about understanding local businesses was one which we took that feedback from the last time we did the survey, when it was 47%, to really look at those local businesses as a starting point, so we can almost prove the concept for some of the bigger employers. So that's the kind of reason behind. And the top one, Michelle asked me to talk about what we don't really want from employers. So I understand, I've worked in industry, I totally get it, we're all busy, but I think there really needs to be this mutual gain, this mutual development, and this collaborative working, not just for CSR hours. So we've had some companies who've come into us and said, great, we really want to work with you, and I've written programs and gone to their exec team with, this is actually what we can do together using your hours that you want to use. However, when it comes to it, that they can't get the people into the school. So we sort of promise things, and then we can't. It's more like what we're trying to achieve as a school right now is working with some really close partners to really prove the concept and add to their, it needs to be a mutual benefit. So more than just coming in for an assembly. And I think one of the things for me is removing as much barriers as we can as teachers, even though I'm a full-time careers lead in school, a school's a very busy place. A business is an incredibly busy place to be in, but it's looking at, my ask for you guys as employers would be, come into schools and tell them what you're looking for, tell them what you want, tell them what you need, and they will then find ways of slotting that into curriculum work. So I know the Hub have been fantastic in supporting us to start to really develop some curriculum lessons, but if teachers understand the things that you're looking for as an employer, they can look at their curriculum pinch points and really bring that to life, which means you're removing the barriers of getting students out of lessons, out of school. We're increasing learning time, but we're also increasing their understanding of the real world of work, because they just love stories, and they'll come to us and say, I remember. They don't forget when they see a person in front of them. It's the most important. It's so impactful, and it's wonderful to see. So we've used Give an Hour as well, so a big shout out to those people who've come in and supported us with that. That's been amazing through the Hub. But I think my main something I'd leave you with is it's got to be mutual, but it works both ways. We need to really get together and with your local schools as a starting point maybe, and really understand what you guys need and what the challenges we face in schools, and how we can work together to fill some of these skills gaps that we have. So I think that's everything. Yeah, I think.
Well, and Dion, you were absolutely smack on time there. We've had a question in the chat.
Thank you.
Dion, would a newsletter from an employer be helpful?
Sorry, I've lost your sound, Michelle. I'm not sure what's happened. Can't hear you anymore.
Oh, can anybody else hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Don't worry. I'll pose that question at another time. Okay. Thanks so much, Dion. That kind of just absolutely backs up the stuff that we've been talking about as a collective. Mark, we will visit the would a newsletter from an employee be helpful with Dion and the wider group as well. When I talked about learning outcomes for today, I kind of wanted people to go away with the thought that, like, okay, we're talking about schools engagement, but schools engagement is recruitment. And again, I've probably done this the wrong way around on the slide. Schools engagement is the nice thing to do. It is the right thing to do. Because this is not just about telling kids about jobs. This is about our economy. This is about our talent pipeline. And it's often the first to go. In a business because of time and financial factors. But the benefits of outreach for me is definitely that idea of bringing the kind of brand awareness, the career awareness, the jobs awareness, bringing that profile up in the community. We've done some work we've done work with lots of different organisations. We do a project around Scottish Power, for example, they're obviously imprinting on the Wirral, but the kids in the surrounding area, when you ask them where's Scottish Power, they say Scotland, as you would. It's that idea of building your brand awareness in the Liverpool City region for your jobs of the future. And the other thing that is people are surprised about, giving back and doing work with schools and colleges, and especially that impactful stuff that Dion's just talked about, the employee satisfaction you get from that is in my experience off the scale. And it also supports staff development. We do a programme with Unilever, and every single person who's been involved, or 99%, just in case someone pulls me up on that, most of the people that have been involved in that programme have gone on to do something else by managing a school's engagement programme. And I think there's something around that kind of perfect loop of recruitment, is you recruit and you want to retain. So that staff development and that employee satisfaction helps you retain your employees as well. I've just put this kind of point on here. Obviously, we manage the STEM Ambassador Programme, and this is a little bit of some actual. There's been a new impact report published. If anybody's interested in reading the whole report, let me know, and we can kind of pass that on. But 45% of STEM ambassadors said their volunteering had a medium or high impact on their employers. So it's just backing up what I've just said. It does have an impact on your employers. They said they had to look at an area, identify an area where they thought it raised the employer's profile in the community. 68%, massive. 48.9% said it increased their brand awareness, and 36% thought improved staff development. So all the things that I've just talked about in this impact report, once the STEM ambassadors were surveyed, it's just reiterating what we're doing is not just important, it's critical for the kind of economy. Now, my next slide, I was trying to think of a visual of how we think about a career path. And I think we have talked a lot in these sessions about what our young people study in school. To actually, are we talking about their career destination? Like, what jobs does maths and science get you? And I just messed about with this infographic for ages, but these are just some really critical ages. There has been research done that at age 7, kids have already made their mind up. And there's actually not that much change in their career aspiration or what they want to do between year 7 and year 17, but actually they have to make decisions in between that. So obviously at I've just lost my sides, at age 13, 14, and I've tried to put the ages, not just the years, because in the last session someone said, oh, what's year 8? Age 13, 14, you know, they are doing their kind of GCSE choices, and sometimes it's not just in year 9. If you as an employer are focusing on year 9, in some schools it's year 8, and they're making their decisions at GCSEs where they will never study a subject that they drop again. possibly it's usually harder to pick up later on. And then at 16 they do their GCSEs, but they're also deciding on what they do for A levels. So by the age of 18 in year 13, they might just be studying 3 things that might not get them on the path to where they want to be. So I kind of wanted this visualization of our influences in these critical ages as we go through. And actually the best thing to do for recruitment with young people is to kind of get them at every age, at every level, on all the programs. And if we had millions of pounds, we'd probably be able to do that. So we've finished possibly a little bit early today, but I kind of just wanted to reiterate and give us a little bit of time to chat that we have talked about how school and college impact outreach can impact on recruitment. And I think it's absolutely critical to recruitment. I think I need to highlight the networks available. We can put the whole idea of this employer network was for us to talk together and put you in touch with the people that you need to talk to. There has been a few things that we've mentioned today that you might not know about, or you might know loads about. Please come to me, ask us, and we'll talk about that in more details. Understand whether it's understanding the Gatsby benchmarks, understanding how you can get involved in lesson plans and curriculum within schools. You know, as the careers hub, there's so much that's happening in our schools. We can get you involved, and I wanted to kind of reiterate this slide again. Even if we had all 150 people in the network doing one of these things, that would make a huge difference, absolutely massive difference. The enterprise advisor role is working with teachers at a strategic level. We're always looking for enterprise advisors. Given our campaign that Dion talked about earlier, there's an email that goes out showing you what schools are asking for, when they're asking for support, and whether it's mock interviews, anything like that. Get in touch and get involved. And then obviously we've got the STEM Ambassador Programme, which is funded by UKRI, and that is around, again, engaging with schools on a local level. You can go and support from a curriculum point of view, and again on an outreach point of view. One of the things that we talked about really, really early on was that it's a confusing landscape, and it is, and I think there's a little bit of us that are going, well, we can't change that confusing landscape, but what we can do is we can not work in silo and kind of work together. So I'm surprised I've kind of finished a little bit earlier, but I'm going to open the floor to anyone. We'll pop the slides down because I've said let's continue the conversation. And if anyone's got any questions for Dion as well, while we've got Dion, that would be fine. If not, if you've got to shoot, you've got permission. We'll stop the recording. You've got a permission to jump off early. That's absolutely fine. Everyone's gone quiet.
Michelle, it's Mark. I'm kind of new to the group, but been involved in the outreach side for years. Could I get a copy of that letter? Struggling with words now. It's good morning. The email that you send out, which has the list of what schools are asking for what and when.
Yeah.
Because if I can get that, I've got a team that I can start leaning into the schools in the area.
Yeah, absolutely, no problem. I'll do you a little follow-up email with a bit of I'll probably pinch off the summaries of some of these sessions. Yeah, no problem, Mark. Get that sorted for you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, as I say, feel happy. If you don't want to carry on chatting, I don't want to keep you too long.
Michelle, I've got another question. Sorry.
One more.
There was a lady on, Claire from Fusion 21.
Yeah.
What is Fusion 21?
That's it. Is Claire still on?
Don't they do training?
I think so, yeah.
Right, so it's a training provider.
I think so, yeah. Let me just, I should know because I've looked at it a number of times.
We've
But,
worked with them.
yeah,
Phil,
they're over in,
Phil,
yeah.
absolutely, you can quickly flag the Daresbury Open Week. Do you want to give a quick shout out?
Yeah.
You've got your 60-minute pitch here, mate.
Excellent, thanks, Michelle. Okay, 6 minutes. So
60 minutes, 60 seconds. Oh my days.
10th to the 15th of July this year, we're running the Daresbury Open Week. First time in 7 years that we've run this. It's going to be an epic event with 1,500 school pupils across Key Stage 2 to Key Stage 5, and then a public day with 7,000 to 10,000 members of the public. Central to this event, we've got a marquee called the Wonder Marquee, which is going to be a major signposting opportunity to attendees to say, where can you go to find out more about STEM? Where can you go to engage more? Where can you go to learn more? What opportunities are available? We're looking for hands-on interactive activities that really demonstrate the amount and variation of STEM activities and employment going on in the region. If you would like to be involved, please do contact a member of my team, Gemma Reed, whose email I'm just about to throw into the comments box. We would love to hear from you and talk about how we can incorporate you in our event. It's going to be amazing. Thanks,
Phil. 60 minutes. Is it Friday yet? Honestly, cracking up already. No, that's going to be a great event. And again, joining the dots there, you know, it'll probably go out to Give an Hour. It'll probably go out to STEM ambassadors as well. You know, so the idea of this is really to give us that kind of joined up approach, so we're kind of not working individually, because there's lots of different networks even within our own employer networks. It's just that idea of let's not recreate the wheel. If you've got something that you want to share with the group, that's absolutely brilliant. As I say, if you want to get involved in the parent stuff that's coming up, that'd be really good. And I'm sure Jill's got a million things that you could get involved in as well. But we'll follow all this up with an email. We'll send the recording out. There's loads of days coming up as well. We're still in March, so it's International Women's Day, there's Careers Weeks, there's so much that you can kind of get involved in. This was hopefully to try and make sure that you've got the information in front of you and that we can signpost you to all the right things. Brilliant. Thanks very much, everyone. We will see you at the next quarterly meeting. I hope everyone was happy with the way that we kind of put it out this time round, so it'll sit in your diary. We'll put the next quarterly meeting is coming up soon, and then our next masterclass is gonna be about diversity. We're going to be focusing on diversity and how schools and college engagement can increase your diverse talent pool. Our quarterly meeting is in March. That's going to be on the 23rd, but I will be sending that out to everybody as well.